Welcome back, everybody, to our deep dive.
Mm.
We're looking at 2025 and specifically the crypto landscape.
Mm.
And man, are there some interesting developments.
Definitely a fascinating time to be following this space, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So much
A
happening.
lot of analysts, a lot of experts weighing in with their predictions.
Right, and we've got some
Right?
really
Interesting sources.
interesting sources for this deep dive. A good mix, market analysis, some bold predictions, even a pretty surprising, shift in opinion from a pretty well-known crypto critic. So,
Yeah, should be fun to dig into all this and see what we can uncover.
absolutely.
Let's kick things off with Bitcoin. I mean,
Yeah.
it's digital gold, right? Everyone's talking about it. And one trend that's really caught my eye is this whole whale accumulation thing.
Oh, yeah. These large-scale investors, they're not just buying a little Bitcoin here and there. We're talking
No.
massive amounts, serious accumulation. And,
What does that tell you?
well, it tells me they see Bitcoin as more than just a speculative asset. They're looking at it as a hedge against inflation, global uncertainty.
Because.
The classic safe haven play. And when you see companies like MicroStrategy
Yeah.
doubling down on their Bitcoin holdings, I mean, they just bought another 2,530 Bitcoins, brings their total to a whopping 450,000.
That's like $28.2 billion worth of Bitcoin.
It's a bold statement, and, their CEO, he's even hinting at the possibility of MicroStrategy becoming a Bitcoin bank.
A Bitcoin bank. Now, that's a fascinating
Yeah.
concept. What do you think that could look like, and what kind of implications could that have for Bitcoin adoption by institutions?
Well, I think if a company like MicroStrategy actually becomes a Bitcoin bank, it could really change the game for how institutions view and interact with cryptocurrencies. Imagine, companies holding a big chunk of their reserves in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
It could create a domino effect. Other institutions might start following suit, and that could lead to wider adoption, more legitimacy for Bitcoin as a store of value.
Right? It'd be huge.
It would be, but it's not going to be a walk in the park. There would be regulatory hurdles to overcome security concerns, compliance issues.
Of course. But it's still a really exciting possibility to think about. And, it makes you wonder, is this the push Bitcoin needs to go fully mainstream to really become that digital gold that everyone's been talking about?
It could be, but, the crypto world is always evolving. Bitcoin's got the first mover advantage, the name recognition, but it's not the only player in the game.
Right. And that brings us to XRP. It's a
No.
cryptocurrency that's had its fair share of skepticism and even controversy.
Yeah, accusations of centralization being too tied to traditional financial institutions, the SEC lawsuit.
You can't forget about that.
The comparisons to Bitcoin, not always favorable.
Right. But despite all that, Ripple, the company behind XRP, they've been busy making some pretty significant moves, partnering with major financial institutions.
Yeah.
Like that banking consortium in Japan.
They're really aiming to be a key player in the global financial system.
And here's the really interesting part. Peter Brandt, veteran trader,
Yeah.
he used to be a pretty vocal critic of XRP.
Oh, yeah, he was.
But now he's calling it a leader of the pack for 2024.
He's come around. He's impressed by XRP's technical performance, its growing market presence. He's even predicting a price of $24.
Wow, that's quite a shift.
It is. It's definitely gotten people talking, whether you agree with him or not. It's a significant statement coming from someone like Peter Brandt.
It is, and it makes you wonder how this kind of endorsement from a respected analyst, how that might influence perceptions of XRP among investors. Could this be a turning point, lead to more acceptance, wider adoption?
It's something to keep an eye on for sure. Ripple's partnerships, their focus on real-world use cases, and now this recognition from influential figures, it could shift the narrative around XRP in a big way.
And adding to that potential shift is this news about Ripple exploring XRP-based ETFs.
Oh, yeah, the exchange-traded funds, that's a big deal.
Big deal.
ETFs make it easier for investors to get exposure to different asset classes, including cryptocurrencies.
Right.
And there are predictions that crypto ETFs are going to explode in popularity in 2025, even surpass gold ETFs.
Wow, that's a bold prediction. So let's say that happens. Imagine that influx of institutional capital flowing into the crypto market. What kind of impact could that have on XRP and, just the broader crypto ecosystem?
Well, it could bring a lot more liquidity, potentially reduce price volatility, make crypto investments more appealing to a wider range of investors. It could also further legitimize crypto in the eyes of traditional finance, pave the way for more integration, mainstream adoption.
And it's not just about the ETFs. We're also seeing signs of greater acceptance for Ripple within the crypto world itself. And Charles Hoskinson, the founder of Cardano, He was critical of Ripple in the past,
He was.
but now he's talking about collaboration on DeFi and stablecoin projects.
It's interesting, right? It suggests that the industry might be moving towards more collaboration, recognizing the potential synergies between different projects.
Right, so it seems like XRP, despite its past, is really positioning itself to be a major player in this evolving crypto landscape.
It's a real possibility. Their focus on bridging the gap between traditional finance and crypto, the expanding ecosystem, the growing institutional interest, it could all add up to a pretty prominent position for XRP in the years to come.
Yeah, well, we've covered a lot of ground here, from Bitcoin's institutional appeal to XRP's surprising rise and this whole anticipation around the ETF boom.
It's a lot to process.
It is. But you know what? Let's shift gears a bit and talk about the broader crypto landscape as a whole. What does the future hold for this dynamic and ever-evolving space?
All right, let's dive in. It's easy to get caught up in the Bitcoin and XRP hype, but there's a whole universe of crypto out there.
Oh, yeah. Thousands of cryptocurrencies. It can be overwhelming.
Definitely. And, the thing is, it's constantly evolving, new projects popping up all the time, so it's all about continuous learning.
So where do you even begin with all of that? And how do you make sense of this massive, complex landscape?
Well, I think instead of trying to grasp everything at once, focus on key areas or trends that resonate with you.
That's a good point. So beyond, the specific coins, what are some of those bigger trends that are shaping the future of crypto?
Well, one of the most significant trends is the convergence of blockchain tech and traditional finance. We're seeing decentralized finance, or DeFi, really gain momentum.
DeFi, yeah, I've heard that term thrown around a lot, but I'll be honest, I'm still not entirely sure what it means.
It's basically about creating financial systems that are open, transparent, and accessible to everyone, without the need for those traditional intermediaries like banks.
So things like lending, borrowing, trading, all happening on the blockchain without the middleman.
Exactly. And it's giving individuals more control over their assets, potentially higher returns.
Sounds pretty revolutionary.
It has the potential to be, but with that potential comes the need for education.
Yeah.
As crypto becomes more mainstream, we need to make sure people understand how to navigate this new financial landscape safely and responsibly.
Absolutely. And that brings up another big topic, regulation. Regulators are still trying to figure out how to approach this rapidly evolving space.
Right. Regulation, it's a double-edged sword. On the one hand, clear regulations can build trust, attract institutional investors, foster wider adoption.
Makes sense.
But too much regulation could stifle innovation, limit the potential of this technology.
So finding that balance is key.
It's a tough challenge for policymakers worldwide.
For sure. And then you've got the whole issue of cybersecurity, which is, a constant concern in the crypto world.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've seen those high-profile hacks and scams. They shake confidence. It's a reminder that security is paramount.
Especially as more value flows into the space, the stakes just get higher and higher.
Exactly. It's a prime target for malicious actors. So individuals, institutions, everyone needs to prioritize security.
So what can individuals do to protect themselves? What are some practical steps they can take?
Well, it starts with basic cyber hygiene, strong, unique passwords, two-factor authentication on all accounts, be wary of phishing scams.
The basics, but essential.
Absolutely. And when it comes to choosing platforms for storing and trading your crypto, do your research.
Don't just go for the cheapest or easiest option.
Right. Look for platforms with a proven track record of security, transparent practices, a good reputation within the community.
So much to consider. I think for someone who's just starting to explore crypto, it can feel pretty overwhelming, almost like a secret club, with its own language and rules.
It can feel that way, but honestly, don't be intimidated. There are tons of resources out there to help newcomers learn the basics, start small, do your research, and never invest more than you can afford to lose.
Wise words for any investment, but especially in the volatile world of crypto.
Exactly. And be patient. This is a long game. The crypto landscape is constantly shifting, so be prepared for the ups and downs.
Buckle up, it's going to be a ride.
It is, but it can be an incredibly rewarding ride, both financially and intellectually.
All right, so we've talked about the potential, the challenges, the need for responsible investing. Let's dive into the world of altcoins. We've touched on Bitcoin and XRP, but what are some other contenders that are catching your eye?
Well, there are literally thousands out there, impossible to cover them all, but let's highlight a couple that are making waves in different sectors, like for example.
Aave, yeah, I've heard that name associated with DeFi.
Exactly. Aave is a lending and borrowing platform that lets users earn interest on their crypto or take out loans using their crypto as collateral. It's like a decentralized bank.
So cutting out the middleman.
Exactly. And Aave has really taken off billions of dollars locked up in the protocol. It shows the growing interest in these DeFi solutions.
Yeah, it's fascinating to see how these platforms are reimagining traditional financial services.
It is another project worth mentioning is Chainlink. They're addressing a really crucial challenge in the world of smart contracts, connecting them to real-world data.
Okay, for those of us who aren't, tech wizards, can you break that down a bit? What are smart contracts, and why is real-world data so important for them?
Sure, so imagine a smart contract that's designed to automatically pay out insurance claims based on weather data. Chainlink acts as the bridge. It securely feeds that data into the smart contract, enabling it to execute its function accurately.
So it's like bringing the real world onto the blockchain.
Precisely. Chainlink is enhancing the functionality of these blockchain applications by connecting them to the real world in a secure and reliable way. And it's not just weather data. They're working on all sorts of applications, from supply chain management to decentralized prediction markets.
It's a good example of how innovation in the crypto space is going beyond just creating new currencies. It's about building solutions with real-world impact.
That's the exciting part. The possibilities are endless, and as we explore and experiment, we're going to see even more innovative solutions emerge.
It's mind-blowing when you think about it.
It is. So as we wrap up this segment of our deep dive, what key takeaways should our listeners remember?
Yeah. What are the big things we want them to walk away with?
Well, I think the most important takeaway is that crypto is so much bigger than just Bitcoin and XRP. There's a whole universe of innovation happening, and it's moving at an incredible pace.
So stay curious, keep learning,
Absolutely.
and get ready for the next part of our deep dive where we'll explore the future of crypto and what it might hold for all of us. Welcome back to our deep dive exploring the crypto landscape of 2025. We've covered a lot of ground already.
We have Bitcoin, XRP, altcoins, the whole shebang.
It's been a wild ride just trying to keep up with all the developments.
It really has. The crypto world never sleeps.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
So as we wrap things up here, let's take a moment to, really reflect on what we've learned and maybe even try to peek into that crystal ball and see what the future might hold.
All right. Gazing into the future, always a fun exercise.
It is. So what stands out to you as we look back at this deep dive? What are those big takeaways?
Well, I think the biggest one is just how dynamic and unpredictable this space is. It's constantly evolving, full of surprises.
Yeah, I mean, who would have thought that Peter Brandt, of all people, would be singing XRP's praises?
Right. Talk about a plot twist. It just goes to show that flexibility and an open mind are crucial in this market.
Absolutely. You've got to be ready to adapt to new information, new perspectives.
Yeah.
So as we kind of synthesize all this information, what are the most significant things we've uncovered?
Well, Bitcoin's dominance is still undeniable. It's attracting huge institutional interest, cementing its role as a potential store of value.
Digital gold.
Exactly. Then you've got XRP proving the doubters wrong, forging partnerships, expanding its ecosystem, gaining recognition from unexpected places.
And then there's the whole ETF boom that could be a complete game changer for the crypto world.
Absolutely. A potential flood of new investors, increased legitimacy. It's exciting to think about.
It is, but beyond these specific developments, are there any broader trends that you think are really shaping the future of crypto?
Well, the convergence of blockchain and traditional finance is a big one. DeFi is gaining serious traction, offering alternative solutions that empower individuals.
Putting the power back in the hands of the people.
Exactly. And then you have the regulatory landscape, which is constantly shifting, policymakers trying to strike that balance between innovation and investor protection.
Right. It's a tightrope walk, for
Yeah.
sure. And of course, we can't forget about cybersecurity, which is more important than ever as crypto gains value and wider adoption.
Absolutely, security has to be a top priority.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what key advice would you give to our listeners who are, navigating this complex and exciting world of crypto?
Well, first and foremost, never stop learning. This space is constantly evolving, so stay curious. Keep educating yourself.
There are so many resources out there.
Yeah.
Articles, podcasts, online community.
Exactly. Take advantage of those resources, do your own research, and don't be afraid to ask questions.
And remember, this is a marathon, not a sprint. The crypto world is full of ups and downs. So be patient and enjoy the ride.
Yeah, embrace the uncertainty, and who knows, you might just find yourself playing a part in shaping the future of finance.
Well said. Well said. So there you have it, folks. Our deep dive into the crypto landscape of 2025. We hope you found it informative and thought-provoking. And as always, keep exploring, keep learning, and remember, the future of finance is in your hands.